Hello everybody, welcome back to the stream. Good to see you all. Alright, so today what are we doing? We're doing stuff. Today we are doing stuff. So I am working towards another playtest. So there's just a bunch of odds and ends things that still need to be addressed. What's the most pressing issue here? Well, who knows? We'll figure it out. I'll figure out what to do here in just a second, but there's just a lot of miscellaneous things that need to be done. I think the game is feeling pretty good from a balance standpoint. I think it's feeling, so it's feeling good from a balance standpoint. I think that all the changes that I made are feeling pretty good. I talked about the reagent change that I made the other day or yesterday or whatever that was. So I think it's gradually getting there. Like the game is gradually getting to a point where like it's feeling good from top to bottom, and there are not like, I don't want to say there aren't many like obvious pain points, but what I would say is that the most common pain points or the most common problems that people have with the game are gradually getting fixed. So, but of course we're going to keep doing playtests. We're going to keep, seeing what you guys think of it and what comments you have, and based on the feedback that comes out, we'll just keep addressing it, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. But anyway, before I get started, I want to remind everyone that Alchemortis is available for wishlisting, so head on over to the Steam page. You can wishlist it now. It's a dark fantasy roguelite auto-battler where you can create your own builds using alchemy. I also have the Patreon. So the way that the playtest is going to work is that Patreon members get early access to the playtest. So when the playtest gets announced, it will be for Patreon members only for a period of time. So if you want to be one of those people in on the next playtest early, you can subscribe to either tier here. However, if you subscribe to the sponsored tier, I'll send you an Alchemortis Steam key when the game launches, and your name will be listed in the in-game Alchemortis credits. So if that sounds good to you, check it out. But again, the playtest will be playable by everyone. You don't have to support on Patreon to get access to the playtest. So you can just wait until the Patreon playtest early access period is over, and then you'll get a chance to play it. And I also have my Udemy courses. If you want to support my work, those will also teach you how to build complete games in the Godot engine. So check that out if you're interested. Okay. Hello, Emerson. Welcome back. Good morning, Ninja Link. Welcome, welcome. Stop Bill, thank you for the IDR 10,000 again. Very much appreciated, thank you. Always good to see you. How you doing? With the message yummers. Alrighty, so I was working on something last night. Let's take another look at it. I changed the Alchemortis logo on the title screen because people were making fun of the old logo. So there it is, new Alchemortis logo. It's a lot chunkier. It's got a little shader effect on it. So yeah, I think it looks better now, which is good. What else did I do? Did I do anything else? Oh, I was working on a bunch of sound effects, that's right. Also, did I turn off the sound effects here? Let's see. Oh, I didn't mute the music or the sound effects. Oops. Hello, Wooius. Welcome back. Good to see you. So there's the Alchemortis new title. I'm just realizing now. Oh, interesting. I could have sworn these were double outlined, but I guess not. Interesting. I wonder if I should make those double outline. So the trees here have a double outline, but none of these items do. Oh, interesting. Do I want to change that? Okay, I'm gonna do that later probably. That's a very minor thing, but maybe useful to address. Okay, anyway. So I got a couple of sound effects items here. We want a new game button to the main menu, trail component, particles for corrupted outputs. Let's do that one. So I was working on the corruption sound effects yesterday. Let's do skip menu. Oh, I already have skip menu on. I was working on the corrupted sound effects yesterday, and then I realized that I probably need more visual panache on those as well. So anytime a card gets corrupted, it comes and slams down. It's got the tentacles spawning out of it, but there's not really like any particles there. So I think I want to address that. The first thing that I want to do is I have this corrupted effect with this tentacle group here. Let's see. So I almost wonder, I might do this. Let's add a trail component here. Instantiate trail component. This component has been super useful. So we're going to do a width of 6 or 8 might be too thick. Let's do 6. We're going to change the fill here. I don't think I really need a texture, but I'll just use it for consistency, I suppose. Yeah, it probably doesn't need to be a texture. That's all right, though. Okay. So there's that. Our segment lifetime, let's do 0.4. Max segment distance is 5. That's probably all right. All right, I wonder if that's going to work. Let's see. What is this to-do app? To-do app, Obsidian with the Kanban plugin. Hello, Alien Archer. Good to see you. Welcome, welcome. Good morning, the Malicious Rabbit. Need to learn how to make the nice trail effect. I want some little wind particles to fly across the screen and have a trail behind them. Yeah, line 2D is probably the way to go. I mean, the problem with line 2D though is that it's a node, so if you've got like a bunch of trails, it may not be that performant, but hello, Real Naxot. Welcome. Good to see you. All right, let's do this. Oh, that's not what I wanted. I want corruption. Give me corruption. Oh, that's not working at all. Why is that not working at all? What happens if I change the segment lifetime? Oh, do I need to do anything with this? No, I don't know. I don't know how to do this actually. Let's turn the segment lifetime. Oops, not there. Turn the segment lifetime up. This tentacle group. So the trail component is going to need to be in the center, or the card's center of mass. That's probably fine. I don't know. I actually don't even know how this visual is going to look at the end of the day. No corruption. Oh, shoot. This is all weird. This is related to how the card rendering server works. Corrupted effect register parents. So I'm doing something a little bit weird here, which I'm almost certain that I don't want to do. But my card rendering server, it's just a single. Why can't I open that? Oh, because it's just a regular node. The cat is slamming cabinets in the kitchen right now. 1 second. Azir. Azir. What are you doing? I got him. All right. So this is just a control node, and sometimes I need to spawn effects like the legendary or the corrupted effect, but behind the node. But since it's just a single control node here, I don't really have like a tree structure to work with where I can put it behind the parent. Now I'm wondering, can I just set it to render behind parent? Can I just add it as a child? And instead of doing this register parents, oh no, I can't. Right. So there's a bunch of like cascading issues here. So this corrupted effect gets added. Where is it? This gets added as a child, but then it has its parents registered as position root RID. So this is the canvas item that is the parent for this item. So I end up in a situation where, oh, this is just super weird. So the corrupted effect gets added as a child of this card rendering server. But then I actually change the parent of the thing through the rendering server. So its parent that it's inheriting transforms from is different than the parent that it has in the node scene tree, which is really weird. Like, I was not expecting that to work, but it does work. So essentially I have like a virtual parent, which is not a node in the scene tree. It's a canvas item registered with the rendering server. And by changing its parent to that virtual parent, for lack of a better word, or that canvas item parent, it inherits the transforms from that canvas item so that when I'm animating, it follows that animation. But it's still a child of like the root node here. So I'm ending up in a situation where the parent for transformation purposes is different than the parent that it has in the node tree, in the scene tree, which is probably not good to do. Like, that just feels like really, really bad. But the problem is I don't really know a better way to do it because I don't have every card in the game is just a single node. So I don't have a scene tree structure to like change the render order of it. Now, I could use Z-index. Maybe. The problem with Z-index is that it just screws everything up. So I almost never use Z-index because it's just completely unworkable and it's hard to predict what it's going to do, and you end up with all these issues where like you're trying to manually control the draw order by setting the Z-index all across the whole game, and it's like, I don't want to do that. Like, I basically just treat Z-index as if it doesn't exist, and I just use the scene tree structure. So, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so the core problem here is that what is the core problem here? Get canvas item. So I wonder why. Why is the trail component not working? I wonder if the global position that's used to generate the trail is messed up. So since it has like a virtual parent, I wonder if that global position is not being updated. I don't know, actually. What happens if I just move this trail component here instead? Probably not going to do anything, but let's see. It's funny to hear morning every time I come to this morning stream because it's 4 p.m. in my country. That's all right. That's okay. I can't steal Heartbeast's thing of like, good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever and however you may be or something. Anyway. Yeah, that is just not working at all. Also, is this corrupted effect ever freeing itself? Oh, it is. So the trail component only begins to work when the board itself moves down, but it doesn't work when the card is being animated. That's bizarre. That is bizarre. I don't know why that's not working. Of course, I got a legendary. I don't want legendaries right now. I want corruption. So you'll see when the board moves down, I get the line there. Fudge. I don't know what I'm going to do about this. Like, part of me just wants to get away from this hackiness and just create a node that is specifically designed to... Let me think. Specifically designed to track the position of... the card node, I guess? So the ultimate problem here is, like, I don't want to clutter up this card rendering server node. But the other problem is that when I'm doing like the animations, like the play corrupted drop animation, where is that? This is animating a canvas item. It's a canvas item that doesn't exist in the scene tree because it's not a node. So all it's doing is it's just tweaking the transform of the canvas item. So I think one of the core problems here is, like, I actually don't have a way of knowing what the root position is. I mean, I guess I do. So what I could potentially do I could create like a card effect component or something, and I could instantiate that and add it as a child of this control. And then that card effect component can read the position root position here every time and set its own position to that. So it's always going to follow that canvas item. Hopefully that works. So that kind of solves two problems at once, because I can only spawn in or instantiate that card effect component as needed, which will only be whenever a card gets corrupted initially, and also on legendary. And then what I can do is I can essentially just yeah, so let me actually stub this out, because I think that might be the way to do it. So let's create a new scene. We're going to create a card. I'm going to do card background effect component. Okay. So let's do this. Let's save this in scenes component, save it there. And then in here, we'll do scripts. And I'm just going to do this. First of all, game.component. All right, so public override void ready. If let's do private card rendering server parent. Parent is equal to this dot get parent or null card rendering server. What does this do? Oh, that's fine. Get parent or null card rendering server. If parent is equal to null, we're just going to queue free this immediately because it has no card rendering server parent. Okay, then we're going to say show behind parent is equal to true. And then in public override void process, what we will do is we will do global position is equal to parent dot position root global position. Okay. Cool. And then on ready, we also want to do that. Global position is equal to parent dot position root global position. So we'll just make sure that that's set up properly when it gets added to the tree. Okay, and then what I can do now, actually, you know what? This doesn't need to be a scene, I don't think, actually. Maybe I will just change this to a, we can get rid of this. Let's just change this to a global class. Yeah, let's do that, and we'll delete the scene. Oops, delete this. Okay, so then in my card rendering server here, when I do play legendary drop animation, we're gonna get rid of this register parents. This is bad. So we'll get rid of this. Go away. Okay, so var, oh, here's the other thing I need to do. I need a way for this to free itself. Yeah, this is going to be a little bit sloppy, but that's okay. I'm going to do set process equals false here. So I'm going to make it not process until I explicitly like set the time. So public void set lifetime. I'm just going to do a tween for this. Create tween. So the nice thing, so I could use a scene tree timer for this. But the nice thing about doing a tween is that it's bound to this node. So if this node ever gets freed, that tween will be cleaned up as well. I think one of the problems with doing a scene tree timer, so this create timer, is that creates a timer just like, I don't know exactly where it does, but it creates it on the scene tree. And I think if your node gets freed before that timer finishes, I think there may be an error there in terms of handling the signal callback. So a tween with just like an interval is a little bit safer because the tween gets bound to this node such that if the node gets freed, the tween will also be freed and cleaned up. And I want to do set process to true here. Okay. So now what I can do in my card rendering server is I can say var background effect component is equal to new card background effect component. We will do add child background effect component. Okay, and then we're going to do background effect component dot add child legendary effect, and then we do background effect component dot set lifetime to 3. All right. And then we'll do the same for the corrupted effect. I hope this works. This corrupted effect here, this has a lifetime of its own. So I'm actually going to get rid of this. And I'm going to do the same for the legendary card effect as well. Because the freeing is going to be handled by the parent now. Okay, so the corrupted effect, we're going to get rid of this register parents because that's not good. And then in here, set lifetime. Oops. So add child background effect component. We're adding the corrupted effect to that, setting the lifetime. Okay. So let me just make sure. So there is one situation where I guess there's not really a situation. It should always be Q-freed here. Anyway, I'm passing your course on Udemy. I'm a quarter in, and I find a few things you definitely should upgrade. You should use their autoload, but in the latest version, those are globals. Yeah, you could send me that if you want. I'm not in a position where I can spend a lot of time updating the courses. Like, the courses exist as they are. If there are discrepancies, you can either work through those or you can use the version of Godot that I use in the course. But yeah, I can't commit to updating the courses because my monomaniacal focus is on Alchemortis right now. Which I know is like disappointing for a lot of you who like my courses, but there's only so much time in the day. And at the end of the day, I'm trying to be a game developer and not a course instructor. So it's just one of those things where like I have to make a choice, right? I can't spend the time working on courses really. Every ounce of my working energy is spent on Alchemortis, so yeah, that's the unfortunate reality of time and needing to sleep. Hello, Fira, welcome. Good to see you again. Hello, Drufus Games, welcome, welcome. It's a smart thing to do. Things get complicated when you start adding z-indexes all over the place. Yeah. My advice to you is like treat z-indexes as if they don't exist. Like they are a tool that you can use if you really can't do anything else, but if you start using them as like a normal part of your flow for like rendering things in the proper order, you are going to create an absolute mess for yourself. Like it's going to become unmanageable very quickly. So I would recommend treating z-indexes as if they don't exist, as if that's a property that you should never change. And there will be exceptions that prove the rule, right? There will be cases where, yeah, z-index is the proper thing to do, but for the most part. Hey, thank you, Julian. That's me for the PLN 5. I don't know what PLN is, but thank you, thank you. Welcome, welcome. Appreciate it. That's very generous. Thank you. Oh, it's from Poland. Nice. Yeah, sorry, Julian or Julian. Julian. I have a lot of Brazilian viewers, so I just assume that names like that have a soft J, or not a silent J, or I don't even know what it's called. But if your name is Julian, I apologize. It takes me a while. Like I'll be locked in, so I don't read the chats as they come in. It'll be like 5 to 10 minutes usually before I catch up on chat. But thank you. I very much appreciate that. That's very, very generous of you. And welcome to the stream. He only looks at chat every 5 to 10 minutes or so, yeah. Because at the end of the day, like I'm trying to build Alchemortis while doing these streams. And so I can't just like, read every chat as they come in. It's more efficient for me to like let the chats build up a little bit and then I can read through them. My name is actually German. Oh, gotcha. Okay. Well, thank you again. I appreciate it. And sorry I missed your super chat for a couple minutes there. All right. So I guess we'll just see if this works. If this doesn't fix my trail issue, I'm going to be a little upset. But I actually do think that this approach is better. I don't know why I didn't do something like this to start, but first of all, let's make sure that I didn't break the legendary effect. I did. I did break the legendary effect. I mean, the beam is correct. Oh, I'm doing add sibling. Oh, I actually, maybe I don't need to set this position here. I think that's it. I think if I just get rid of that. Oh. I wish I had autocomplete on that debug menu. Nope, that didn't work. So wait. So this gets added as a child. The ghost gets added as a child of this card background effect component. What am I missing? What am I missing here? I'm going to do something here. I'm actually going to use the Z index here. Add child, new, color rect. Color is equal to colors.red. Or let's do green. It's going to be a little bit more visible. Z index. 1. Size is equal to new vector 2.1. No. I just want to see if I know. Do I know where that root is? That card background effect component is? That's the thing that I'm curious about. Okay, it's in the top left of the card. Okay, so that's correct. I'm having a hard time understanding exactly what's wrong here. It seems to me like those ghosties are spawning. What happens if I do this? Set local space node, get parent or null node 2D. What if I do that? It's a little bit confusing here, but let's see. I need to update this to include lead ingots by default. I wonder why this isn't working. Oh, I didn't want to get stuck on this. This can be simplified. Oh, maybe it can't actually. No, it can't because they're two different vector types. Never mind. I'm kind of puzzled. Hello, the Mad Dog Project. How are we? Good. Good. How are you doing? That Hellfire beam animation goes so hard. I love it. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it. I just updated the sound effects for it as well. I feel like the previous legendary effect was a little bit too cheery, so I kind of changed how it sounds. Okay, I think... Okay, let's try this first. Just reorder some things here. All right, let's see. Put this over there, put that over there. Boom, boom. Oh. Well, one problem I have... There's a bunch of problems here. I need to look at something really quick. I just need to look at what my existing animation is. I'm also good, thank you. Just jumping into doing some custom Black Ops 3 stuff. Want to expand my C++ knowledge and custom engine experience. Also, the community will like something new. Awesome. This sounds like a fun project. Game looks awesome. Are you the artist as well? I am. Thank you, Spiral Trap Studio. Yeah, all the art you see on screen was drawn by me. That didn't look correct either. Am I just like, I don't know what's going on here. This is bizarre. Oops. It looks like, so in the current version of the code, it spawns at the bottom. So I'm almost there. I'm almost there with my stashed version. I'm almost there with my stashed version. It's just that I think, let's see. This would be new vector 2 half size dot x for card dot card size dot y. I don't know if that will work. Let's see. The other problem is that the z-index is actually changing, or not the z-index, but the show behind parent flag is changing of those ghost particles. Okay, so that looks better. The problem here, though, is that those particles, those ghost particles, are supposed to change whether they go behind or in front of the card, and that's going to be a little bit tricky. But let's check the corrupted as well. Okay, so that seems to be working pretty decently as well. I mean, the trail is not correct, but so this is a generally better approach. The problem so just to sketch out the problem. So the way that the scene tree ends up being set up is I've got like my card control node, and then I add a background card effect component here. This gets set to show behind parent here. And then I instantiate the legendary card effect. So that ends up going behind the card. And then I also instantiate the legendary ghost. The problem is that the legendary ghost needs to change whether it shows in front of or behind the parent. So the problem is, like, I don't know the way to show this exactly, but let's just say I've got a sprite 2D here, and we'll just put the Leviathan in there. So this is how it ends up looking, right? This card background effect component, even though it's, well, it's the only child of the card node, ultimately, this sprite 2D is replaced by a canvas item. So there's no actual node in the tree. But this is how the ordering works. But the ghost here, this is supposed to be able to change whether it renders in front of or behind the card based on its motion, because that gives it like a 3D kind of motion. It makes it look like it's wrapping around the card. So the problem here is that I can't change Like, since this node here is set to show behind parent, there's nothing I can do from this perspective to make it render on top of the parent. So what I may need to do is I may need to elevate this legendary ghost to this level and then change the show behind parent here instead. But the problem here now is that now I've got to elevate this outside of the card background effect component, which means I need to make sure that I'm freeing it properly and tracking it properly. Legendary ghost. Well, actually, the ghost, does it free itself? Oh, it does. Okay. Oh, this is going to be a little bit messy. Let's see. If get parent or null card background effect component. Well, let's do this. Background effect component is not equal to null. Add child else. Add sibling. I wonder if I just have to do that. Okay, let's close this. So those free themselves, those little wispies things. So I think it doesn't, I don't really need to track them. So let's see if this works. It didn't work. Oh, right. No. I need to do this. Goodness. He does it all himself, wearing all the hats, yeah. Awesome, man. Good work. Thank you. Appreciate that. Did you also do the music? No, I didn't do the music. My friend did. I hired my friend to do the music, and he did a good job. He did a good job. Oh, I'm not looking. Hold on a second. I just wanted to make sure that those things are muted there. Okay. All right, let's see if this works. See, now that's off. So wait. Oh, okay. All right. So this just needs to be half size again. I don't know what is happening in the whole tree of transformations here, but I just want to get this back to feature parity with what it was before. Okay. We seem to be back in business now. All right, good. So card background effect component, I'm going to get rid of this new color rect. Okay, so all of that work was basically done so that I can go back now to the corrupted effect and fix this here. How can I use VS Code with Godot? You just got to install the right extensions. Just VS Code, you install Godot tools or whatever, and then that's it. It's pretty easy. I'm using C# though, so you know it's just a C# project. So just install the C# extensions for VS Code, and there you go. Hello, Eto. Welcome, welcome. Naxot, thank you for the Prime subscription. Very much appreciated. Thank you, thank you. Very generous. Appreciate it, and glad you're here. It's time for Game Dev once again. Welcome, Jackie Daytona. Tree of Transformation's got to be an item after a name like that. Yeah, that's a good one, actually. Let's see. Something like that. How did you make that animation where you combine the cards, the one with the beam? Like the stuff going around the card? Yeah, so, I mean, it's just... so it's a legendary ghost. This uses a trail component. This trail component is basically a line 2D that keeps track of like a bunch of points. So as the frames are being generated, as the game is going through the process loop, I'm recording the points, and I'm just moving like the end of I'm moving the position of this line 2D around, and then as it moves, it's recording all the points, and then each segment has a lifetime so that it starts to like delete older segments of the line. And so you end up with this effect where it looks like there's an item with a trail moving around. And then I just spawn a bunch of those, and then they're just basically using like very basic steering behaviors to do their little motion. So it's pretty simple. It's not anything super complicated. But anyway, so we got the trail component here. So now this trail component, I need to grab a reference to that. Then we'll say trail component dot position is equal to that. Okay. The sprite is just a line. Yeah, it's just a line 2D. It's not even a sprite. Don't you have to tell Godot to open files in an external editor as well to use C# with VS Code? Oh, yes, you do. But I think I mean, that's all in the docs, so should be pretty easy to find. Okay. So the segment lifetime is a little bit too long. I actually don't know if this is really going to be that great of an effect. So all this work may be only to discover that Oh, that's interesting. I kind of like that, actually. I just think maybe the trail component needs to have a lower lifetime. Of course it turned it into a legendary. Of course it did. Anyway. So I think the trail component needs to be disabled after a certain amount of time. I think I can call disable on that. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that seems to work. So I just get a little bit of a trail. I mean, it's not that great of an effect, but I'm gonna change it as well. Or I'm gonna add more to it anyway. Yeah. Just a little bit of extra something, and then I may do some particles as well. So we'll work on that next, but I think we're good. Okay. Okay, all right. How cool would a tree made of those little wiggly tentacles be, though? That would be cool, yeah. Why do you prefer C# over GD script? Hello, Fuzu. I'll just call you Fuzu, I guess. Just convenience or preference, I mean. Because he wears glasses and needs to C#, yeah. I just like the structure that C# gives me, that's all. That's the only reason. Okay. I need to take a quick 3-minute break, and when I come back, we have more effects that I want to add for the corruption, but how do you animate tentacles with Sprite 2D? They look really good. Those are also not Sprite 2Ds. These tentacles are line 2Ds that have a noise texture applied to them, and then corrupted tentacle. There's just some code in the process here that changes all of the segments to be positioned and angled differently. And there's, you know, considerations made for like how far along the segment or the point is from the base of the tentacle. Because like to get a tentacle to look like a tentacle, it can't just be wriggling all around, right? Like there needs to be a place that it's rooted to. And then, but the edges of the tentacle can like curl and uncurl and stuff. So that's it. It's just a line 2D where, you know, in the process method, each segment is iterated over, and then based on like a certain noise value, or based on the noise value being sampled, it will change how those things are curled, how the segments are curled, with the intensity going down as you get closer to the base of the tentacles. You can see the base of the tentacle is not moving at all, and the tip of the tentacle is moving quite a lot, right? Then I have a bunch of ways of controlling that too. Like I can control all these different properties, and then I've got the noise in there. So yeah, that's how it works. Hello, Clickertail, welcome. Everything looks so smooth, really cool. Thank you, Oh Pacheco, I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, hopefully you guys like the next playtest, which is coming up soon. I'm hoping that it's even better than all the other versions, and I think it is, I really do, but of course, we'll see what you guys all think about that. But give me 3 minutes, I'll be right back, and we'll continue on. All right, I'm back. Is that tooltip issue resolved? Was pretty annoying, especially when when you said it's solid. Curious to know what the issue was. Yeah, so that was a side effect of a fix that I recently did that I forgot about. So there was a problem where sometimes the tooltip cooldowns would be out of date. For example, like anytime you have an item that changes its own cooldown or changes the cooldown of its own cooldown, you could hover over the item and the tooltip would be incorrect until you hovered over the tooltip again. And that was just sort of like an order of operations issue. The problem was that the tooltip was being triggered prior to all of the abilities resolving that would change the stats that are shown in the tooltip. So the tooltip was just showing stale data. The data wasn't incorrect, the tooltip was. And so what I did is I just said, oh, well, we'll just defer the mouse entered signal. We'll defer the handling of the mouse entered signal. And then what that does, that ensures that all the abilities have been processed first before the tooltip again attempts to be shown. The problem was I did not also defer the mouse exited signal. And so I could end up in a situation where, depending on how the order of things went, I could fire the mouse exit signal or handle the mouse exit signal before the mouse enter signal. And I forgot exactly why this was a problem, but basically this code was built with the expectation that an exit signal will always follow an entered signal. Like there will be no like exit first, then enter, or like 2 exits in a row and then an enter, right? But that was no longer true now that the mouse entered signal was being deferred, right? Now I could handle the mouse exit signal first before the deferred mouse entered signal was handled. And so that was causing a problem in certain situations where basically the tooltip was just getting into a state where it could never be shown again. And that's why restarting it fixed it, right? So again, I don't remember exactly why that was the case, but that was fixed by just deferring the mouse exit signal handling as well to preserve the ordering, right? So if you're deferring the handling of the mouse enter and you're deferring the handling of the mouse exited, the deferred handling happens in the same order as it would in like the, I don't know what you would call it, like the synchronous handling. So if the entered signal is always fired before the exit signal normally, and you defer both of those things, then they will be handled in that order, but deferred, right? So anyway, that was the fix. Turned out to be pretty easy. It was just adding this one little connect flag deferred here. And that's it. So now the tooltips are basically delayed showing until after everything's been updated. Hello, Sonia. Koromon. Oh, goodness. All right, so legendary drop particles. I need to do the same thing for corruption. So we're gonna duplicate this. I don't know where the duplicate is in that menu, so we'll just Control D. Corrupted drop particles. Process material make unique recursive. Okay. Display color. We're gonna make this one. We'll do this, and then I'll also put, actually, you know what? I'll do this first. Corrupted drop particles background. This is a little bit annoying. Okay, so corrupted drop particles. So we've got that. I wonder if I should, so that's the color initial ramp. Maybe I'll change this to just color ramp. Let's see. So we'll do red and then purple. This needs to be constant interpolation. Actually, I wonder if I should do this. Oh yeah, that seems good to me. So I actually don't need this one. Okay. Okay, so we've got the corrupted drop particles now. So let me grab that. Where are my legendary drop particles? Here. Corrupted drop particles. And then here. Corrupted drop particles dot restart. Okay. All right, let's see if that works. Hello, Mark. Welcome back. Good to see you. Agumon. I just don't know what these things are. I don't know how many times I need to tell you guys I'm uncultured. Okay. I think that looks all right. I definitely want to put a lot more effort into the alchemy here, like the particles and whatnot. Like, I think the splash particles aren't terribly good either. Let's fix those while I'm here. Splash particles placeholder. Oh, interesting. Okay, let's change this. We need to make this, like, way beefier. Okay. Velocity. Okay. Display color curves. This is the color initial ramp. I don't want to do this. I kind of want to just take that and drop it there. Oops, wrong one. Do I have some friction or damping or something? No? Well, let's just see how that looks now. Agumon is the next evolution of Koromon. Hello, Srivid. Hi, what game is this? This is Alchemortis. You could check out the Steam page in the description below if you're curious what the game's about. But, yeah. It's a dark fantasy roguelite auto-battler where you can use alchemy to create your own builds and synergies. That doesn't seem right to me. I wonder, let's do this. Velocity, let's actually turn this up. Oh. I feel like I'm gonna do this. We're gonna turn the gravity way up. Way up. And we're going to turn the initial velocity think I actually need to change the spawn emission sphere radius. Let's do box instead. I don't know. I want to make these effects like look really good, but I don't know if this approach is the right way to do it. Cool. Yeah. Random question. Is the wishlist amounts public? It's not. I'll see if I could share that with you at some point. Let's see. Let's turn this down, actually. Yeah, I don't know. How do you program in C#? I tried connecting C# to Godot myself, but I couldn't get it to work. It was a while ago, so I don't remember exactly what the problem was. I think I needed the .NET SDK. Yeah, you need the .NET SDK installed, and then there's really like no connecting to be done. It's just you open up a C# IDE, and if the IDE recognizes your project and you can build it from the IDE, then your .NET environment is set up correctly, and then Godot should automatically detect that you have .NET installed and will call like the build commands for it. So there's not really like connecting work to do per se. I'm realizing something here which may not be good. Why is particles root? I wonder, should this render in front? I'm really not liking how this is looking. Trying to think what other kind of splash effect can I use. I downloaded it, but it still didn't work. Certainty's got over 1,000 wishlists, judging by the popularity of the playtests. It is over 1,000, yes. Make sure you have the mono version of Godot installed. Yeah, that's a good one. Or the .NET version. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like it's hard for me to like answer those questions because like the errors that you might encounter from trying to get that set up, it kind of like varies from person to person. Like everyone who has a problem gets stuck in a different part of it. And so it's like it's hard to know what's going on. And the thing is too, like I didn't have those problems because I have a ton of experience like setting up development environments, right? Like all of the jobs that I've been at, got to install like 40 different dependent tools and like get your environment variables set up. And so like I guess what I'm trying to say is like I don't have problems setting up those things, and so I don't know what the common pitfalls are, and so it's hard for me to be like, oh yeah, make sure you do this Y and X, Y, and Z because that will trip you up if you don't do that. Installing like getting the mono version or the .NET version of Godot for me set up was just like, I don't think I encountered any errors with it. So, I mean, again, that's just to say, like, I just don't know what the pitfalls are. I don't know what the common points are that trip people up. I will say, though, that if you are having a problem, oftentimes it's quicker. Just put your problem into an LLM if you're the kind of person that likes to use the AI. And the AI is really good at helping you like walk through setup instructions, because what you can do is you can say, okay, here's what I've done, here's what's not working, here's the error output from the console. And the AIs are generally pretty good at like telling you what the error is saying and what you need to do next. So I would encourage you to use that tool if you're having difficulties. There was actually the last time I did like professional work as a contractor, it was an iOS app, and all of their developers had left the company. And there was basically like no documentation about how to get anything set up. And I had never really set up a development environment for doing an iOS app before. So I basically just used ChatGPT as my guide to like walk through how to set it up. And I actually ended up getting it set up when it would have taken me probably a week otherwise to like get a hold of everyone to like ask them, hey, how the heck do you do this thing? I'm just realizing now that these splash particles active. Okay. Just like with visual code. That cauldron animation looking juicy. I don't know what you mean, Mark, just like with visual code. Thank you, Monkey Software. Do you have any videos for absolute beginners? I'm learning on Linux and trying to learn Godot scripting. Any tips of massive help? I don't have any absolute beginner tutorials, but I always recommend GDQuest for people who are absolute beginners. The quality of GDQuest stuff is like unmatched, and they're, from what I could see, I mean, I obviously haven't taken their courses, but I have looked into the, being a course instructor myself, trying to look at like what the quality of other courses are. GDQuest has always stood out to me as like extremely polished and very easy to understand. So definitely GDQuest is the first place I'd look as a beginner if you're looking for tutorial or course content. I don't think you can go wrong with them at all. Now I'm realizing this, maybe it would be better to make this a point. Yeah, maybe it would be better to make that a point and then increase the spread a little bit. I don't know. I'm just like... I need to do some brainstorming on how to like make these visual effects like super awesome. I think the problem that I have with like the particle splash stuff is that it just doesn't look... It just doesn't look that great. Maybe if I turn the lifetime randomness up a little bit. Lifetime randomness is already relatively high. What if I turn this down? I'll turn that down, and then I can probably turn down the velocities a little bit. Hello, Junie. Welcome, welcome. I don't know why, but I'm constantly having problems with C#. I've worked on other C# projects and I all had issues with the wrong version of .NET SDK. C# is my first programming language, but outside of Unity, I find it difficult to work with. Yeah, I think, you know, that's just something that will get better with experience. Like, setting up development environments is actually like really tricky, and oftentimes it can be, if you're new to programming generally, it can be the hardest part, because like you got to make sure like environment variables are set correctly. Like you might have .NET installed, but it may not be in like your system environment variables, and so when you run the .NET command, it's just like didn't find it, right? And then you got to figure out, how do I configure my environment variables so that the .NET executable can be found? And then it's like, oh, this project expects .NET SDK 8, but I've got 7 installed, and so now I got to figure out how to like get both versions installed simultaneously and like figure out how it can use the right one. It's difficult. It's like kind of a nightmare. It's like my least favorite part of doing like programming work, is getting the development environment set up, because like, you know, and then you got to worry about like, why is my debugger not working and what the heck is going on? Why am I getting so many legendaries? That doesn't seem right. Anyway, I think these, I mean, it's looking better than it did, I think. But I definitely need to spend some more time working on that. Add some white particles like sparks or other chemical reaction. Yeah, I could do that. Yeah, I'm almost wondering if like, what if I created a couple of like effect scenes? But anyway, I want to copy. Let me just copy this. And then we're going to go to the splash active placeholder. We're going to paste this in here. But I'm wondering if I should create like a little specific, like little effect scenes that have some extra logic, like bubbles or something. I have a really unhinged idea for the alchemy, but it would require quite a lot of work. I actually forgot. So this is coming out. Let's see what that does. There's a great game called Gunforge with great punchy animations. Could be a good reference. Just make sure the dev doesn't get upset at you. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, one of the reasons why Gunforge worked relatively well is that I don't know, I felt like I was just able to animate a lot more things than usual. Like I was able to use a lot of squash and stretch and stuff, but I'm trying to accomplish a lot of my visuals in Alchemortis with like shaders and particles and stuff. And it's just harder for me anyway. That looks fine though. I think I will turn down the amount here a little bit. Okay. I think I'll try programming in C# once again. Once I get an SSD. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I would give it another shot. Use the LLMs as like interactive tutorials if you need them. That's probably the quickest way to get help. Fortunately or unfortunately. Okay. I think that's better. I mean, I think they're better. They're just not like... These particle effects are not like wowing me. So I need to think some more on how to do it. But, you know, I don't want to spend too much time just on visual polish at this point in development. Visual polish is going to be one of those things that I just consistently do over like the couple months leading up to release. Anyway. I think we can call that effort done though for now. Okay. Remove frame by frame animation from map birds. Do I want to do that? Oh, wait. Oh, they're not frame by frame animations. I don't know why I wrote that down. Delete. Okay. So these two are sound effects. Let's see. Add a new game button to main menu to abandon a game without going into the run first. Okay. So let me take a look at the main menu. Do you guys like the new title? The amount of hours I spent trying to get some projects to compile because my environment has the wrong Python version or the wrong makefile needs an older live version or something. Yeah, that is my least favorite part of like making software. Sub emitters are helpful in that regard. Oh, gotcha. I think the problem though is like, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think sub emitters work in compatibility. So the problem is I'm trying, because like not everyone is going to have Vulkan compatible hardware. And so I'm trying to just like not use anything that's like Vulkan specific. Because the idea here is that you should be able to switch to the compatibility renderer. It's actually a Steam launch option. And then the game should basically look exactly the same, right? So I'm trying not to use anything that's only like forward plus. I think I broke that rule in like 1 or 2 places, but I probably will fix that actually. Some stretch skew could look good in the game too. Yeah, yeah. Completely unrelated, but what's your favorite genre of music? Metal. My favorite band ever is Metallica. I'm like unhealthily obsessed with them. The title is nice. You like it? You know, the Spotify does like the Spotify Wrapped or whatever, and it shows like your top 10 songs or top 10 albums. I looked at my Spotify Wrapped for like last year, and it was literally every single entry was a Metallica song or like a Metallica album. I was like, oops, my Spotify is basically just a Metallica playing machine. Easy to read, and it's red. Yes, awesome. I'm glad you like it. I'm glad you like it, Ashwin. I'm not sold on the new main menu. Love the icons, but not sure if the parts blend in too much. The new main menu. It's not, I mean, this has been the main menu for a while, but I did move the elements around. I have a 3070 GTX, so I forget that, yeah. Love me some metal, yeah. Let's go, I love Metallica, hell yeah. I mean, heck yeah, don't demonetize me, YouTube. Anyway. So I don't, so basically the problem here is that when you have a save file, this says continue, but you don't have an option of abandoning the run from the main menu. So you have to go into the game first, load your save. Oh, I was like, why isn't this working? It's not working because the game's not supposed to be run from the main menu. Okay, so yeah, so you go into the game, let's say that I'm loading from a save, it will load up my save, and then I have to actually go like abandon the run to start a new run. So one thing I could do is I could put like an extra little button on the signpost here. So like there could be, this could be a part of the button, and then this could be a part of the button. I think my favorite metal band nowadays is Motionless in White, but I like the classics too, like Metallica. Also had a pretty long stretch of listening to Japanese metal bands like Galneris. Yeah, there's a lot of good bands for sure. I'm trying to think of like what would be like my second favorite to listen to. I like Machine Head a lot. Exodus is one of my favorites. What else? I'm blanking. But I'm one of those people that I love everything Metallica does. Like I even like Saint Anger, which I know is not popular. And I like their new stuff too. I love Load and Reload. I just can't get enough. Can't get enough of it. I think the background can pop out a bit more so that we see the menu more blend with it. Right now the menu items is kind of flat. Flat too far. The background can pop out a bit more. so that we see the menu more blend with it. So you're saying like bring more elements here, like foreground elements? Avenged Sevenfold is good, I like them. Polyphia, they're progressive rock, highly recommend. I'll check them out. Pop out too far in front. Yeah, so there's a couple of problems. Like originally these things were all clustered much more closely together. The problem was that it was hard for people to like understand at a glance because there was just too much happening. Like the quit button used to be like over here somewhere, and like Discord was moved over, and like unlocks was like right here. So I just recently moved everything out. Like I'm hoping that players, like their eyes are gonna hopefully gravitate towards like this section here, which is all the things that are relevant for the game, right? Like the start button, the settings, and the unlocks. Those are the things that you're probably gonna be interacting with the most, aside from quit. But quit is one of those options where you don't want to draw attention to it like immediately anyway. So I did spread these things out a little bit more, but maybe it does feel too empty now. I wonder if just like adding more trees here, like do a tree in this style and put it like here, and then put one here, just make it look like you're more like inside of like a little clearing or a little grove or something. But I think maybe the problem is just like there's no element here or here, so it's like, yeah, it kind of loses the depth like you said. Because like I think this region over here, generally speaking, has good depth, but then as you move out, it's like, yeah, like you said, it's flat, right? So yeah, I could definitely think about doing something like that. Just like give more of the impression of like a 3D, you know, perspective going, you know, bigger elements here, and then it goes out, fades out there. Yeah, we could do that. Polyphia is sick. Just got back to this really end of the stream. No, it's not the end of the stream. I'm gonna see what I can do here. Settings hanging on the branch doesn't convey that immediately. Also add credits to hit TRC. I don't know what TRC is, but yeah, I need to do a credits button in here somewhere too. Actually, adding like another tree here might work, because I was thinking the credits could be like a notice that's like nailed to the tree, and you click the credits button and it like shows a dialog box or something. Feels like a void with menu items just kind of floating. Are you planning to remove Discord and wishlist later on? No, because there will be a demo build eventually. Maybe Discord, but wishlist no, because like there will be a demo build always available for the game. So if somebody plays a demo and likes it but can't buy it at the moment for whatever reason, they can click this button and that will bring up the wish list for them. Even a tree trunk on the left right edge of the screen could add some good framing. Yeah, I'm trying to think of like, you know, I could do like vines perhaps as well. I could do both, you know, I could do like trees and vines, or I could even do like little ruins or something, you know, like stone ruins. Technical requirement checklist. Need to hit that list if you need someone to help release. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I have my technical requirements checklist is here. I was thinking about adding the credits. I mean, the credits screen will have to be in place before the demo. So as soon as there's like a publicly available persistent build of the game, there will be a credits screen in there when that becomes publicly available. Because, of course, I want all my Patreon subscribers to get the credits that they earned and deserve. But I've got some stuff cooking up, and it's going to be... Yeah, we'll see. I gotta redo this menu. Gosh, there's so much work to do still. This screen is looking bare, too. I need to fix this screen. Fudge. This was not supposed to be an art-heavy game. I failed. Could also have the stone pathway extend a bit further down the screen, maybe. That could work. There's a global TRC for PlayStation. Yeah, I'm not releasing on any of those platforms at launch, so I don't think it's worth worrying about at the moment. But I will keep that in mind. Holy difficulty slider, yeah. Can be a graveyard or elements from the run, like artifacts or enemies, more animated so that the 3D looks conveyed. The 3D look is conveyed. Having a backlog like that would make me sweat profusely, yeah. The not really an artist over here making tons of art by hand, yeah. Sorry, don't know you get this asked all the time about when the plan to release the game. Yeah, that's okay. I'm releasing the game later this year. So before the end of the year, this game will be out, which is like, 6 months basically. Did I make the music for the game? No, my friend did. I hired a friend to do the music. But it turned out pretty good, I would say. Especially the main track is super, super good. Yeah, I don't really have any ideas about how to... how to do that new game button, or that abandon run button. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Call of Duty always supposes you want to start a new game, but gives you a prompt to continue from save. Yeah, the problem is I don't know. I would hate for somebody to have a good run going, and then they click start, and then it's like, would you like to continue from your save? And you accidentally click no, and now boom, your save is gone, right? Although I don't actually think that happens. I think that's actually recoverable because I don't resave the game. Let me think. I don't resave the game until you go back in. So if you were to click no on that screen, so let's say let's say that I get to this screen and I click this, a dialog could pop up and say, do you want to continue from your save? And you click, let's say you accidentally click no, it will take you to this screen and then you go, wait a minute, I had a save file, go back. You click it again, it will ask you the question again because the save file actually hasn't been overwritten. So yeah, I think that could work because I actually don't save the game until you actually get into a run. So that would work, right? Have Inquisitor recruitment stand appear that acts as an end run button. Yeah, that could work. Guess you don't have any modal dialogues right now for UI, right? I do, yeah. They're not very pretty, but I do have them. So if I go to like settings, actually, do I not? Oh yeah, abandon run. Are you sure you want to abandon this run? Yes or no? I actually do have a generic confirmation dialogue here. I don't know why this is so like... I don't know why this is so chunky though. Okay, well, let's try this then. New game confirmation dialogue. So we do this. Or no. Continue run confirmation dialogue. Something like that. I don't know. We'll figure out the wording later. Oh, wait. Do I just... I actually don't remember how I use this. Let's see. Does this need to be an instance placeholder? Yeah. Okay. So this needs to change to a placeholder. Instance placeholder. Continue run confirmation dialog placeholder. Okay. Let's see. What happens if I cancel this? No button. Dismiss. Emit signal canceled. I don't need to listen to that signal. Actually, I only care about the confirmed here. Actually, I think I do. Okay. Is that going to work? Let's turn off ignore save file. Let's also turn off skip menu. Let's see if that works. How to make SEVS code with Godot? I don't know what you mean, Julian. Only to save once, you do something or run or something. That non-centered text is sending me. It will be centered. It's just not centered in the UI for some reason. Or I guess this text is not centered here, but that's all right. Go back. That's not correct. I've been making games for several years now, but the problem is that I never get past the beginning. I start a game and then immediately give up on it. Haven't finished a single game. Don't know what to do about it. Game jams help a lot for finishing games and learning how to finish games, and just generally making smaller games that are just more doable from the start. Is my save file broken? Oh, I still have like, hold on a second. No, and then we'll get rid of the test character ID. I think my save file might be borked. Any good tutorial recommendations for actually putting together components for Godot? I get the concept, but not sure how to structure them so they interact. Yeah, I don't know. There was a popular video that just came across my feed the other day about how to set up like proper composition. But I don't remember what it's called. I'm sure you could find it on YouTube. Okay, that seems to be working actually. So I can bail out of that. Now the question is, if I go to quit to menu and I do continue and I click no, and then I select the necromancer and I go here, is that going to resave everything? Quit to menu, continue. Yeah. I'm just making sure that the map is the same every time. Sweet. And I can abandon the run from here. Oh, the problem though, oh shoot. I actually didn't think about this very hard. So the problem is that if you don't end up going to this screen, then your statistics won't be merged into like your global statistics. So whatever you happen to unlock or whatever stats you happen to gain during that run, won't actually be merged into like your persistent save. I mean, it's not this screen that does it. It's the whole flow that sends you to this screen is what does all the merging. So if I've unlocked a bunch of things in the run, but then I choose not to continue from there, it's just going to be silently deleted without merging all that stuff into the save file. And I can't just merge it like silently when I click no there because that would destroy the save. And then I wouldn't be able to go back and continue again. So I guess there's a couple options. One option is just to tell the player, hey, none of your progress that you made, none of your progression progress that you made will be saved if you click no. So that's one thing that I could say. But it seems kind of weird, like, oh, if none of my progress will be saved, then I have to go in here, and then I have to click abandon run here, and then the progress can be saved. That seems kind of weird to me. The other option is just to make any run abandonment not save your progress, which may be the cleaner thing to do. So I could just make it so that anytime you abandon a run, it just doesn't save any of your progress. Do smaller systems and have phases to work on. Don't try to finish it all at once because it's overwhelming. I really don't like game jams. Hello, Remedy. Welcome, welcome. Abandon run equals delete save, surely no. Well, I mean, I can do that. But, you know, I wanted to make it so that way if you abandon a run, like whatever progress you gained towards the meta progression would still count. So, but I guess I don't have to do that. I just thought it would be a nice feature, like, oh, you know, I only applied like 100 poison stacks when I abandoned the run, but it's still counting towards my progression for my unlocks. Like my 20,000 stacks of poison or whatever. If you don't continue with your last save progress, you'll turn into a Goomba. First option seems way better. What was so the first option was just don't merge if you abandon from the main menu? Is that what you were saying? Or were you referring to just don't save any progress on abandon at all? Could the player abuse their abandoned run mechanic in that case to do 5 minutes of the game to get really quick progress? If they can, might want to promote not abandoning. No, I don't think so. I mean, like, there's not really a whole lot you can do in like 5 minutes of the game. So, and for a lot of the things like apply 20,000 poison, like you're going to be doing that faster if you actually do a poison build. Like it's not like you could start with a poison based character or whatever, or, you know, and just like apply 50 stacks of poison and quit and then do it all over again. But if you've got to get to 20,000 stacks, it's going to be a lot quicker to just build a poison build and apply a couple hundred poison per encounter, right? So I don't think so. I don't think there's like really any potential for abuse at all there. Applying the progress makes sense then. If every abandoned run doesn't say progress, it could lead people to continue playing unenjoyable runs. Yeah, that's the thing I'm trying to work with too. Well, I can see if I can try to merge the end run data when that no button is clicked, but then the problem is you don't have any recoverability, right? Like you can't, if you click no on accident, the save file gets merged and cleared and then there's no going back. I don't know. I have to think about that. I have to think about that. The other problem is the unlocks too. Like, can I update the unlock state? This is a whole mess. Because let's say that you abandon the run from the start menu. Oops. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to quit. But let's say that you abandon the run by clicking the no button in the dialog from the start menu. And let's say that whatever progress you had in that run, caused you to unlock a new character. Is that going to be up to date when you get to this screen? And then the unlocks menu here may not update either. I'm gonna have to look at that. I'm gonna have to think about that code. Maybe seeded runs help. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to go take a break for lunch and end the stream there, but I'll keep thinking about this. It'll probably be my main thing to address for today. But you can wishlist Alchemortis on Steam. The link is in the description below. Definitely check that out if you're interested. I appreciate any and all wishlists. Seems a lot of work to change the structure for just the start menu. It's normal for games to delete data when you start one run on top of another. It's different than abandoning a run. Yeah, so maybe I'll just do that. Maybe I'll just do that for the playtest instead of trying to like re-architect everything. And there will be a little bit of an inconsistency between abandoning a run from the start menu and abandoning a run while you're in the run. But maybe that's okay. Maybe that's all right. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Thank you for being here. I appreciate all your support. Check out the links in the description below for all the ways you can support me. And yeah, we're gonna have a playtest ready here hopefully soon. So keep an eye out for that. Hope you all have a good day, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.